Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another reading. For those of you who follow these weekly videos, I just wanted to apologize for my absence last week. I was actually traveling to Egypt, which was an incredible experience, and seeing the pyramids and seeing all of the temples is very interesting to see the great advances that were existing, should I say, in ancient civilizations. And the main takeaway that I got whilst being there was that you could see in ancient Egypt that art and architecture were and beauty were a big part of their of their culture, as well as spirituality. And spirituality again was just simply being in communication with the non-physical realm. So this showed me that, as we still try and comprehend how the pyramids were built, I think it's safe to say that until we're able to bring feminine energy back more presently and more actively into our civilizations, then we won't ever really fully comprehend, because it's safe to say that the people of ancient Egypt were operating on a much higher level of intelligence and a much higher level of comprehension and understanding of the interconnectivity between both the physical and the non-physical world. So anyways, I just felt that this was a message that I needed to share with you out there and help you realize that, one of the main reasons for this video is to help boost feminine energy. And, feminine energy is not to be confused with feminine and masculine in terms of gender, but in terms of the characteristics of energy. And feminine energy really resonates to creativity and intuition and flow and beauty and play and imagination and expression. And these are all things that are feminine energy. So the more that we allow ourselves to tap into the flow of ourselves and the flow of our lives and the flow of the universe and Mother Nature, when she is left to be and left to be in her power, then things become very different. So yes, again, a message I just wanted to share there. So before we jump into the messages that have come through here, I just invite you to close your eyes so we can release any stagnant energy that might have built up. So gently placing the balls of your feet and the heels of your feet directly underneath your knees. Just try and relax your body a little bit. So nice deep inhale all the way up to the crown of the head, pulling from the belly. And exhale with a HA sound, releasing from the back of the throat. Nice deep inhale, pulling in from the base of your belly, all the way up to the space above the crown of the head. Pull, 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 pull. Pull all the energy in, all the breath in that you can muster. And as you exhale, feel the breath leaving from the crown of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. And one last breath here. Nice big inhale. Biggest, 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 biggest inhale. Blow your belly up. Push the belly out, 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 out. And exhale, clearing from the throat, clearing from the belly. HA sound. And then opening your eyes. Welcome back. So again, before we get into the messages here, there's been quite a lot of energies, and actually one of the reasons that we wanted to travel, my sister and myself wanted to travel to Egypt at this time, is because we were in the 8-8 portal, the Lion's Gate portal, and as of mid-July, we entered into Leo season. But Leo season is very much to do with our will. It's to do with solar plexus energy, remembering that, the sun is the celestial body that dominates Leo. And so think about the sun. The sun shines bright every single day, and the sun will never try to dim his light. Will never try and say, "Hey, let me not shine so much because maybe I'm burning some plants over here, or I'm burning somebody over there." It's basically, if you're sitting in the sun for too long, the sun doesn't care if you start burning, because the sun just is, and the sun just shines and expresses its true self, which is to be extremely, extremely hot. And through that heat, the sun basically brings life to everything around us, including ourselves. I mean, well, maybe I'm generalizing here, but I'm one of those people who my mood is definitely affected by the lack of sun. And when there is no sun, I can definitely feel that I don't feel as joyful and vibrant as when the sun is around. So, interestingly enough, the first card that we have coming out is ceremony. And look at all that yellow, ceremony. Sorry, on the card here, the numerology is a 5. And interestingly enough, Leo dominates the 5th house. And the 5th house is the house of joy and pleasure and fun. And so, really, what's happening here is because we also celebrated a new moon in Leo at the beginning of this week. And so, again, remembering that new moon represents new beginnings. So not only did we have the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, which actually started from, I think it was like the 23rd of July. I might be wrong there. You might need to do some research there. But the heart of it was basically on the 8th of August. And basically, the Giza pyramids on the Lionsgate portal actively align with the star Sirius. And Sirius is said to be the second celestial sun within our astrological system. So, really, what that means is that there have been massive shifts energetically. And I always like to talk about the energy here, because really, once we start to comprehend that energy is what controls matter, then we realize that the only way to start shifting our physical reality is by shifting our energy. And how do we shift our energy? Well, we shift our energy through our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, and so on and so forth. Again, if you want to learn more about that, then I invite you to check out my podcast. I've included a link, in the description box below. But coming back to our first card here of ceremony, is that as this new moon came through, followed by the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, or should I say preceding the Lionsgate portal, essentially what's happened is that we are being asked to start new beginnings, and we are being asked to enter into ceremony with ourselves, but also to enter into ceremony with the spirit world, with the non-physical world. And the non-physical world also represents our soul, because remember, we are soul beings having a human experience, and the physical body is literally just the vessel that allows our soul to move here through this earth. So remember, it's not the body that is important, it is what is driving the body. And what is driving the body? Well, it is our soul, which is why when we die, our body is no longer animated. So we are being asked to enter into ceremony with our higher selves, to enter into ceremony with the non-physical version of us, our soul self, our higher self, and allow this to be what comes through, so that we can start to enjoy more pleasure, so that we can start to return to our childhood selves. And I mean, think about when you were a child. How much fun did you used to have? How much, and you wouldn't need much to have fun, because you were able to tap into your imagination and to be creative and to look at the world through a somewhat different lens. And so, with the new moon, with the Lionsgate portal, with this first card coming through, we are really being asked to enter into ceremony with the non physical realm. Because, again, and I will continue to repeat this, that we are going through a time of ascension. We are going through a time of evolution, where the earth is literally evolving, and each and every one of us must evolve along with her. And if we're not willing to evolve into these new energies, then things won't go so well. Things will become difficult. And so the thing is, this is still the beginning phases of this evolution. This is a transition that is going to take place has been taking place over thousands of years, but now we're at the point where we're starting to see the effects in the physical world, because you have to remember that the physical world, there are multiple dimensions, and the physical world, the tangible material plane, is just one of these dimensions, and it is somehow at the bottom. If you're looking at it in the form of a tower, you have all these dimensions above Earth, and Earth, or the physical reality, the reality in which this physical body can exist, is here on the material plane. But in order to get down here, all these things must have happened in the dimensions above. And so all these changes that have been taking place, and this is also with the changes in the movements of the celestial bodies and the various planets. This is why the positioning of Sirius and the movement of the planets in the sky, they do affect our energies. And whether you want to believe in astrology or astronomy or not, that is not what I'm trying to push here. It's simply realizing that everything is made up of energy, and the planets up above, just like how the moon affects the the ebb and flow of the tides, and they even affect our moods. All the other planets, and even the planets that are further out of our solar systems that we haven't talked about so frequently, such as Sirius and Nibiru, and all these new planets that are coming into our solar system, which is shifting everything in the world. So if we do not take time to enter into ceremony with these celestial bodies, which ancient civilizations refer to them as the gods, and so this is where, when you start to look back into the ancient civilizations and the ancient cultures and the things that they talked about, we realize that consciousness was so much more elevated at that time, because they could comprehend things that we still kind of ignore today. So when I look at the ceremony card, a question I have for you is, where can you enter into ceremony with yourself? Where can you enter more into ceremony with Earth? Where can you tune into the frequencies of these planets and these beings, and let them guide you on this journey? Because when we realize that the human part of us, the human aspect of us, is just one aspect of who we be, and when we tune into our soul self, into our higher self, and we remember that we have lived so many previous lives before, and all that information is stored literally within our DNA. And this is part of what is happening at the moment, is as these energies shift, the energy on Earth is shifting, and our bodies are literally shifting. Our DNA, dormant parts of our DNA is being activated. And this is why we can't comprehend some of the things that the ancient civilizations did. It was because they were not, or should I say, we are not operating at the high levels of advanced frequencies that they could tap into. I really recommend that you watch the movie Lucy, because this movie explains it really well, what happens when we start to be able to tap into all of the different parts of our brain. I mean, we're only using what they say between 5 to 10%. And the thing is, the brain is not only intellectual, it's not only made up of the logical mind. When we start to tap into our empathetic abilities and our feeling abilities, and this is why they talk about the sixth sense, because when we start to tap into the pineal gland, or the first eye, the non-physical eye that allows us to see beyond the veil of illusion, what goes on beyond what we only see with our physical reality, then we start to realize that there is so much more going on here on the planet. So the next card that we have here is Spirit of the North, and the numerology here is a 4. Interesting, because we have a 5 followed by a 4, making a 9 being the number of completion. So yes, there is, with the new moon, we have just completed a cycle. We have begun a new cycle. And the 4, which represents foundation, it represents stability, remembering that as we are moving into the new earth, the newer civilization, then a foundation needs to be sturdy. When we're building one of these, I don't know how many 100-story buildings that you see, well, basically you have to excavate quite deep into the ground so that that building doesn't topple over. And it's the same case that we as individuals and as souls have been grounding our foundation of who it is that we want to be next as we discover the next version of ourselves. So I actually want to read the card here for you. So it says, Spirit of the North is connected to the element of earth and initiates you to the energy of strength, stability, practicality, and resourcefulness. So yes, basically, you know, as we have entered into a new chapter, and we're also being asked that what is the new foundation? Well, what is it that who is it that we wish to be? What is it the world that we wish to live in? You know, I really like to look at the world in the sense that when major changes are taking place, then there are also many opportunities. It's an opportunity to be creative. It's an opportunity to try things differently, to try things that haven't yet been done. So you are being asked to look into, you know, what is giving you stability, what is building you strength, because Leo energy is also about strength. So the energy of the new moon and the energy of the Lionsgate portal has been giving us strength in our solar plexus, and the solar plexus relates to our will, our ability to take action, our ability to trust in our ability to take action and to do. Because when we wish something and when we have dreams, well, we need to take steps and we need to have a practical approach. We need to have a plan in order to know how to get there. So the beauty is that when we are co-creating with the spirit world, then we don't have to do everything for ourselves. We can literally ask the spirit world to give us guidance. And that was that ceremony card. When you enter into ceremony with the spirit world and the non-physical world and you ask them for guidance, then that guidance will be sent to you. But now you need to have that strength in your will to be able to take action. So if the spirit world sends you opportunities and say, okay, look, here's an opportunity knocking at your doorstep that's going to get you to wherever it is that you wish to be, well, you need to take the necessary steps. You need to trust that the opportunities that are coming in for you are coming in to aid you to get to where you are. And this is where, you know, these things can be a little bit chaotic, because in order to get where we are, where we want to be, well, the reason we're not there now is because there are certain things in our life, in our environment, in our behavior, in our thoughts, in our taking action that are prohibiting us to a certain extent from getting where it is that we wish to be and being the version of ourselves that that we need to be in order to get where we wish to go. And so if we are not able to identify the things that are inhibiting our progress and taking action, you know, being fearful of taking action, not being able to follow through is actively one of those things that are inhibiting us. So we have been given an opportunity to check in with ourselves, check in with our, you know, our resources, to check in with our practicality, to check in with our stability and our strength, so that we can move forward. So it says, when this archetype comes into your life, it is a call to bring your awareness back to everyday mundane tasks. Yes, you know, unfortunately, sometimes when we are building our dream, and you know, I'm one of those people who is great at daydreaming, but you know, when it comes to actively taking the steps, and so, for example, when it came to me setting up my business in order to make my dreams a reality, well, obviously when I was daydreaming up what my great ideal future life would look like, where I would be able to be my own boss and make my own decisions and do what I wanted to do, well, obviously my daydreaming didn't take me into the mundane, boring parts of doing admin and dealing with things like accounting and dealing with things like paying taxes and figuring out what business licenses you need and all the boring things. But these are things that we have to deal with in order to get where it is that we are going. So dreams need real world action to take shape in the physical world. Preparation and pragmatism are the tools that will serve you well at this time. So yes, what is your plan? What are the practical, physical action steps that you can start taking right now, as soon as you finish this reading, then go and take a step towards making your dream a reality. You're on the path, so don't give up. Yes, if you are finding yourself here and are actively looking out there for information that will help you make your dreams a reality, then, well, you've already, succeeded more than most people out there who are still just at the dreaming phase and don't have the ability to take action. So, pulling this card is also a reminder that greatness is not built overnight. Have patience as you work toward your goals and celebrate small wins as readily as big accomplishments. Yes, my sister and I, as we went into business together and started building our company, well, there were a lot of challenges and there continue to be a lot of challenges. But in these challenges, we also see the opportunity for growth. We see where there are what we like to talk about, leaks in our psyche, leaks in our energy that is not allowing us to get where it is that we wish to go. So yes, it's important to take time to celebrate those wins, because when you have so many things and so many challenges coming at you, it's so easy to forget why you started doing this. But when you remember that, even if, and obviously here in Kenya, there is always a lot of red tape and there is always a lot of, various facilitation fees that need to be paid in order for the most basic things to actually happen. Obviously, this can get very frustrating, but then when it gets done, well, we will go and celebrate by having a celebratory lunch and say, yay, at least now we can move forward. So important to celebrate even the smallest of wins. If you are seeking financial security, you shall find it through determination and proper planning. Yes, it is so important. If you are looking to become free of the 9 to 5 being employed by someone else, then it is so important that you have a practical approach to getting there. Yes, I talk about co-creating with the universe, and the universe will make this easier for you, but it is also important that you comprehend that, if we are wanting financial freedom in this physical reality, then obviously physical things will need to be done, like dealing with the accounting and dealing with all the mundane, boring things. If you are seeking health and well-being, you will obtain this through perseverance and commitment. Yes, health requires every day for you. I remember when I was struggling to lose weight and I just couldn't comprehend why I wasn't losing weight, and then it was only until I realized that I needed to change my lifestyle in order to lose the weight and to keep the weight off. So you have to start to build a lifestyle that allows you to maintain this financial freedom. Because if you want to go out and party every single time rather than actually committing to doing whatever it is that you need to do right now in order to move your business forward or move your dreams into physical reality, then there are certain commitments that you will need to stick to, and there are certain changes that will need to be made, like going out drinking every single weekend. This is not going to get you forward. And then you wonder, oh, why do I not have any money? Well, because you spend all your money drinking at the bar every single weekend. And there is no judgment, because I too used to be there. But these are, again, other parts of ourselves that we have to dive into. And we have to start asking, are these things really allowing us to move towards that dream life that we are seeking? So find a quiet place outside in nature. Kneel down and scoop up a handful of earth in the form of soil, a plant or a rock, with both hands and face north. Whisper into the earth, I am present for your guidance, dear spirit of the north. Bring the earth to your heart space and meditate for a moment on the message she brings. Thank the North Spirit for her presence and her divine guidance. So yes, again, this is an idea of what kind of ceremony that you can do, like we had here in the first card. So it's just about creating your own practices. So it could just be sitting in your living room and looking up towards the sun and saying, okay, sun, I thank you for your heat. I thank you for giving life to this planet, because if we didn't have the sun, nothing would grow and it would be a very dark, gloomy place. So take a moment to thank the sun and ask the sun for guidance. Ask the universe for guidance. Ask whatever energies, whether this is God, whether this is the universe, whether this is the plants and the earth, whatever it is that you want to call it, tune into that energy and ask for guidance of how you can move forward, how you can find the resources that you need, how you can find more commitment and dedication to making your dreams a reality. So then the next card that we have is the Seer card. And interestingly enough, the numerology on here is a 27, which brings it to a 9. This beautiful card. So yes, basically these energies are telling you that you are a seer. You have the ability to see beyond the physical veil. And again, when we use our first eye, our spiritual eye, and you can look more into this, the pineal gland, if you want to know more scientifically about what this is. But the first eye basically allows us to tap into the deepest parts of our brain, the parts of our brain that link us to our subconscious mind, which is linked to our soul, the remembering of who we were even before we were in physical form. So what is it where, and this is again coming back to the feminine energies, so where is your intuition sending you? And the thing is, we all have intuition, we all have a gut feeling. How many times did you have a gut feeling that you didn't listen to, and as a result of that, well, something went wrong? And sometimes things can go a lot more wrong and they can go somehow less wrong, but I've realized along the way that the more I tune into my gut feeling and the more I trust my intuition and know that that is a deeper voice, that is the voice essentially of my higher self, the voice of my soul that is guiding me and wanting me to have the best possible experience in this life. Because remember, we did not come here to pay bills and pay taxes and to live and be a slave to the system. That is absolutely not what we came here to do. And this is unfortunately the programming of the matrix system that has really made us believe that that is all that we will be, but that is not the case. And that is why now we are going through what they call the great evolution, the great awakening of our planet Mother Earth, which is evolving. And as the earth evolves, new energies come through, and the vibrational frequency, you can look into something called the Schumann resonance, which is the vibrational frequency of the earth, which has been speeding up for years. And this is why time is literally speeding up. We can all feel it. So there is literally scientific explanations for what is happening at this time. But the more we see that science and spirituality are basically one and the same thing, it's just that spirituality probably falls more under the domain of metaphysics, but it is still science. And there is more and more research being done by literal scientists that can give you the physical, scientific, real life explanations if you are still not able to fully tune into energy. And the only reason I say this is because I was one of those people. I used to be a very, I need to see it to believe it. My mind, my physical, rational, logical 3D mind needs to comprehend these things for myself and see that they work in order for me to believe. And this is how I got into all of these things. And I went deeply into studying astrology. And through studying astrology and learning to read my own birth chart, I was able to see who I was, and to see who I really am, not only in the physical sense but also in the soul self. So again, if you are looking for guidance, then there are so many tools out there that can help you on this journey. And if you would like a reading to discover more about who you are and why you're here, then check out the other link to my website where you can get in touch for a personal reading. So where do you see yourself in the future? Start tuning in and start paying attention to who you see when you tune into your own energy presently, when you tune into your energy of who you were in the past. These are things that every single human being on this planet has the ability to do this, but it requires reprogramming and a sort of refocusing of the brain. And the only reason you can't do this at this current moment is because you have been focusing your energy onto other things. So interestingly, the next card that we have here is the shift. And yes, the earth is literally going through the shift. We are going through something called the precession of the equinoxes, which is when the earth is literally tilting on her axes. This has been done, this has happened, in previous times, because everything happens in cycles. And interestingly enough, the numerology on the card here is a 38, which brings us to an 11, and the 11 is, you know, how many of you see 11:11 on the clock? 11:11 is, you know, you have two 11s, and it's kind of like the two pillars of the doorway. It is 11:11 is opening the portal into your heart, opening your portal into the spiritual awakening that is happening on an individual level as well as on a collective level. So the earth is literally going through a shift. This is the shift of the equinoxes, and this is why we are seeing so many changes happening in regards to our climate. No, the earth is not heating up because we are driving too many cars and because too many cows are farting. The earth is awakening because this is just what the earth does. She moves through cycles, and as the shift takes place on a physical level, it also has to have an effect on all the other levels, because all the other levels, all the other dimensions, all the energies from the changes and the planets and the way they have been aligning for all the different years, and thousands of different ancient civilizations have spoken about this. You can look into the the Mayan prophecies. You can look into the prophecies of the Bible of Revelations. If you look into all the ancient civilizations, you can look into the Hopi prophecies. All of the ancient civilizations spoke of a time when the energies of the earth would shift. And we are literally going through these shifts with the earth. And this can be difficult, but what you have to comprehend is that the changes that are going on at this time are good. They are working in our favor. They are letting us see that the world in which we have been living in has been an illusion. We have all been veiled. Our energies and consciousness has literally been dumbed down so that we cannot see the reality of the world we live in. Matrix literally comes from matter in Latin, which is mother, and the matrix system is basically a tricking of the mother. And this is why so many, anyways, I'm not going to get too much into this now. If you want to learn more about this, then check out my podcast below, where I go a lot more deeply into all of this information. But we are literally going through a shift, and we are going through the portal, because not everyone is going to make it through this shift, because unfortunately some people are still very tied to this physical reality and want to hold on to it. So yes, the next card that we have is Ascendant, and again another 8 card, Entrance. Look at this card. We are basically ascending and entering into a new frequency, the frequency. And it's not that we're suddenly going to disappear and no longer be here. It is that we are going to enter into a frequency that hasn't been present on the earth in many, many years. And again, coming back to my time in Egypt, this is an energy that hasn't been seen since the times of ancient Egypt. And this is where, again, we have entered the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is a time of higher thinking. It is a time of information. So a lot more advanced information is coming into the frequencies, is coming into our field, which means that we are starting to access with more of our brain and starting to see a lot more, because it is not only seeing with our physical eyes, but seeing with our first eye, our spiritual eye. And then the next card that we have is the 8th house, mystery. Yes, the 8th house in astrology represents the house of Scorpio. They call it the house of death, sex, and taxes. It is the house of the occult. It is the house of all things taboo. It is all the things that we do not want to talk about, all those dark things that we kind of sweep beneath the surface. And I mean, everybody knows about all the corruption that goes on in all of our governments around the world, but somehow we, the people, the 99% of the planet, can't seem to do anything about it, because, well, we have somehow been veiled. There has been an illusion that has been placed upon our brains and our eyes and our hearts, so that we cannot fully see the system for what it is. And it is a system that does not have our best intention at heart, because it is a system that requires us to tear each other down. And it is a system, unfortunately, that is corrupted by money, because people are obsessed with money, but people forget that money is just a tool. Money is just an intermediary. In order for me to have this glass, I needed to pay money, but it's not the money that got me that I needed. It was the glass that I needed. The money was just a tool that allowed me to buy the glass. So when we start to realize that money is called currency because it is about current, it is about flow. Money is not supposed to stagnate, it is supposed to be spent. The reason why we have stagflation in the economy right now is because there are too few people who are sitting on the majority of resources, and these resources are not trickling down. But the reason that these resources are not trickling down is because what most people don't realize is that for all this massive trick to continue playing out, that there has been magic that has been used, and people might not want to believe it, but there is something called lesser magic which is being used, and lesser magic is being used, and it's basically mental programming. And how are we being programmed mentally? It is by what we are taught in school, it is by what our governments tell us, it is by what we watch on TV, it is all the things that we have been taught to believe. And if we don't question our reality, then we all believe the same narrative. Everything but is dependent on the narrative. So what is the narrative that you have been programmed into? What is the darkness that has been pushed underneath the surface? What are all the things that are happening in the world that we don't want to see because it is taboo to talk about it? Death, sex, and taxes. Yes, the death of the whole world. There are massive crimes that are being committed for years and years and years. And if you look around us, there has been so much death. There are wars going on all around us. But somehow we have been programmed to believe that we are living in such safe times. And yet this is not the case. Sex, well, everything has been perverted by sex. Women have basically been turned into sex symbols, and everyone is just super horny and trying to have sex with everyone, not realizing by opening yourself up, you are bringing in negative energies by engaging in sex with people who have low vibrational energies. This is affecting you and not allowing you to see. So what parts of your shadow, what parts of yourself, what parts of society are you wanting to turn a blind eye to? Because the more you do so, the more you are a part of the problem, the part of the problem of this matrix system, which needs to fall, because again, this system benefits the few rather than the many. Again, this is again, we have a number 4 here, again, foundation with second house resources. Yes, you are being asked. Many people are working on their house of resources, but remembering that resources are not only in the shape of money. There are many other resources out there. Your mental abilities are a resource. Your speaking abilities are a resource. All of your senses are a resource. Your mind is full of information. Share that information, because we are really in the age of information. And the one thing that people will be paying for as we move forward is information. So if you have information that nobody else has, this is where your resources lie. This is where you will make more resources. You will earn more resources by sharing the information that you have. And sharing the information that you have is being who you came here to be. Remember, beautiful souls, every single human being that is alive and present on this planet at this moment came here. And the reason there are so many souls on this planet at this time is because the earth is shifting in a way that we have never seen before. And so many people wanted to come and be part of that shift. But not only is it a great time to be alive, because there is so much karma that can be released at this time, because we are literally going through quantum leaps. As time is speeding up, we are able to do so much more in a shorter amount of time. So this is the time to literally work on releasing any negative karma and building your positive karma for the next life. And the more you do this, the more you help by lifting the vibrational frequency of the earth, by doing good things, by being in your power, then the more the universe will provide for you and reward you with more resources. Then we have a 5, which is the house of communication, the 3rd house. Yes, you are being asked to communicate. There is a big thing about the throat chakra opening up as well, and especially for women, especially for feminine energy, because it is about communicating from intuition. It's like, a lot of these messages are coming. I have opened up to be an antenna, and every time I pull the cards, the questions I ask is, what messages should I share with the collective? So I have put myself here as an antenna to be open to communicate messages that you, the collective, need to hear, that will hopefully help you in this shift. So where can you communicate? Where are you not communicating your boundaries? Where are you not communicating your most authentic self? And communication is as much through our voice as it is through our body language. When we take action, we are communicating. When we take action in certain ways and in certain things, we are communicating to the universe, look, I am taking action here because this is what I see as being beneficial or non-beneficial. Remember, everything is about energy. Yes, and the next card we have is Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Yes, beautiful soul. We are entering a time of deeper spirituality. And we are entering, really the messages that I have been receiving for years. And the only reason that I finally found the strength, and the ability to come and do these videos, because I was such a shy person before. I was like, who gives a shit about what anything that I have to say? Until I had to work on my own blockages, because realizing that this is my mission. My mission is to share these messages with you, the collective, in hopes that it will help in the lifting of vibration, because when the vibration of one person shifts, then it starts to shift the vibration of everyone around them. And so it is so important that you realize that we all came here on a mission, and it is so important that we be in our mission, because this is when we are in our mission, when we are doing what brings us joy, then we shift the vibration of everything around us. We shift the vibration of ourselves and everyone who comes into contact with us, whether we are aware of it or not. But the thing is, we have to let go of the old paradigms. We have to let go of our past traumas. We have to be willing to let go of them. And the thing is, so many of us, we believe that we are our story. And we believe if we no longer hold on to that sadness of all the shit that happened to us in the past, then we no longer exist, or people won't feel sorry for us anymore. But do you really want people to be friends with you because they feel sorry for you? No, I don't think so. I think you want people to be friends with you because they think you're awesome, and because you make them feel good, and they make you feel good, and everything is about feeling good. Remember, we are in the time of joy and pleasure. We came here to literally be in heaven on earth. That is what we are moving to. That is what the new earth is all about. It is about coming back to a time where everyone can be free and be in joy and have the freedom to be who they are and to do what they want. But obviously, I say this can only come when we are coming from a place of higher vibration, because if we still have to tell people that it is not okay to kill and it is not okay to steal, then those people are in extremely low levels of consciousness, because they do not have respect for the many. They rather have respect only for themselves, and I don't know whether we can really call that respect. So, breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will. Micromanaging the universe. Yes, are you trying to micromanage the universe? Do you have issues of control? And oh gosh, when we have experienced a lot of trauma, it is so easy to try and control everything. And this is just a coping mechanism. And I used to do the same thing. I used to try and control everything. And when things didn't go my way, I would get super upset. And I would be so anal about so many things. It's like if the glass wasn't positioned exactly there, I would be so OCD. And oh my God, it was just terrible. But these things were my way of coping with the things that I couldn't seem to cope with in my mind. But when I realized that I am not the one in control, that, when we try and control things so well and they're not working out, it's because those are not the things that are meant for us. And the universe is trying to let us know that there is something better that is coming. But if we allow the conditioning to block us from seeing who we really are and seeing what we came here to be and what we came here to do and what we came here to experience, then we are micromanaging the universe. And we are not supposed to micromanage. We are supposed to co-create. And when we realize that we, the human aspect, the physical version of us, we're not actually supposed to do anything. We're just supposed to be. And when we allow our higher selves to be what guides us and what allows us to move forward, then Suddenly we realize that things start to flow more, things start to move more easily because we're not trying to control everything. Yes, forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Yes, now is not a time of following. You know, we live in a world where everyone is doing the same thing and it's just fucking boring. So now we are really being asked to do what feels right for you. Be unique. We are at a time where we are being asked to be as unique and to share our individual unique light, because each and every one of us came here to do something different, to be our own unique self. And none of us are the same. We are all, each and every one of us, inherently different. So it is time that we share our difference with the world. And the last card we have here is first quarter moon in Scorpio, release your blocks. Yes, all of the challenges that you have experienced in the past few years, all of the shaky foundations that you have been feeling, everything that feels like it is going wrong or that it is crumbling beneath you, these things are crumbling because they are blocking you from being the true version of you. And this can seem scary. I mean, honestly, I used to be one of the most rational people back in the day, and now, you know, when people from my past find out that I do astrology readings and I talk about energy healings and all of these things, these people think I'm nuts. And for a long time, I cared so much about what these people thought. But now I'm at a point where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, because I came here to do what I need to do, and this is what we're all here to do. So, beautiful souls, this reading has gotten a bit long, so I want to share. I want to stop these messages here, but share with me in the in the comments below if this has resonated. If you are connecting with the message, then give a like and share the video to people who you feel might resonate with the message as well. So much love to you all. Keep strong in this journey. You are going somewhere so much better than your mind can possibly imagine, but as long as you stay in your heart, beautiful souls, I promise you that what is coming to you is so beautiful. Love to you. Bye for now.